I want to call this January 3rd, 2024 meeting to order. Angela, you want to lead us in pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, start off with the organizational order. I think we're all going to leave it the same except for the NRGDRDA. And that would change to, for me, to Miss Taylor.
What was that again?
He wants to make you say NRGDRDA again. It's NRGRDA.
Yeah, I think got it up there, NRGRDA.
That's it.
He always adds an extra consonant. And that is because Commissioner Luisos is now on the LRA, the Land Reuse Agency.
Right.
So they're switching it up a little bit.
Mhm.
Somebody has to nominate though, and
I'll nominate Tom as the president again.
no second.
All in favor?
Aye. And I'll nominate Allison to go on NRGRDA.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
And then I'll just move that the funding authority and the rest of the document stay the same from last year. That's county administrator with me as a backup for sheriff's expenses.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Non-highlighted version, all this time.
Yay.
Young? Oh, you want,
Mine is
Oh, yeah.
highlighted.
there must be,
Yeah, hand up that direction.
She wants us to sign this one. Okay, so these are exoneration. Are all of them exoneration? Okay. All right, well, I move that we approve the exonerations.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Is there two of these or just one? Vouchers and invoices. Ruth, did you have any questions about the vouchers and invoices? And commission have any issues?
I didn't.
I motion to approve vouchers and invoices.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from December 20th.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Do you want to sign these?
Yeah, I'll sign. State settlements.
There's. Michelle.
Let's get back to your
Yes.
payroll.
Let's get payroll.
This is the.
Not on there.
Commissioner and.
Yeah, it is. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's just make things up. I'm sure.
They're just the order from the fiduciary commissioner,
I think that just.
saying what they,
I think
what
that's
needs to be
too
done.
long
with
for that line
the-
item right now.
Okay.
They're not.
Okay, wait, I skipped something. Miss Taylor's making me aware of it.
Motion to approve payroll for
Second.
January 12th and 26th.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, that might be more important, sorry.
Yeah, I'm lucky I didn't get anything through at me.
Minutes we got,
Yeah,
and then
now the,
he called for states and settlements.
Yeah, so there's that, and then there's,
Maybe two.
Yeah, there are. That's what Michelle was explaining.
What's, all right. The settlement list is one thing. That one's pretty easy.
Yes.
Anthony, have you seen these? To, the state settlement, there is a in the estate of Nancy Lee Johnson James. Where the fiduciary commissioner made some findings. And the fiduciary commissioner was Gavin Ward. Is that something you're here on, Kevin?
Yes, that's why Mr. Burgess is here, is for that
Okay.
particular order.
Okay.
Which you might, one of the benefits of Ms. James' estate. And I can answer any questions you may have about it. There was a contest regarding attorney fee that the executor wanted to pay out of the estate. And there was argument over which attorney fees were beneficial to the estate as opposed to which attorney fees were beneficial to the executor himself personally. And so we took evidence for Mr. Ward, who was appointed special commissioner because all the Fayette County commissioners withdrew. And he made his decision. And the upshot of it was that Mr. Johnson had sought about $99,000, almost $100,000 in attorney fees. And Mr. Ward decided by his order that the estate should only be $56,000.
Okay, and why wouldn't ours take it? Do they have
They
contract?
were all conflicted out.
Okay.
Mr. Johnson, or it's been on the other side of Mr. Johnson.
Okay,
But anyway, we had a hearing. I'm not here to make any take any exception to the report. I'm just here to answer any questions, Mr. Fayette.
okay. It sounds pretty simple. We just need to.
I mean, the
accept-
Fiduciary Commissioner made findings and
Yeah.
recommendations, so it's okay to give permission to adopt or reject. I'm not hearing any reason to reject.
Yeah, I'm not either. I just, let me think through it.
Are you reading what this is? I'll just wait till you're done.
Okay, well, I think we can go ahead and move ahead. Do you want to start with those?
Yeah, just approve them. I
Okay.
want to make a motion to approve the estate settlements.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Then I'll go ahead and move that we approve the findings of Mr. Ward in the matter of Nancy Lee Johnson James and Marvin Scott Johnson.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Ruth? I guess that's it, Ruth.
And we have another one.
Oh, is there another one?
Yes,
We need to sign
I
that one.
thought we already approved it.
There's another one.
there's
Was
another.
another one?
It's another like separate. Another separate. estate.
Oh, okay.
I've got it right here.
She's got it.
Sally Lee person.
No. Okay, it is. I see it now. I thought it was a two. Okay.
With paying certain people certain amounts. No, I think so.
Is anyone presenting?
I'm looking through it to kind of see what we got here. Here we go. Jamie was fiduciary commissioner on it.
Blank check.
Mhm. Did you read this one, Anthony?
I'm looking at it now.
Okay.
If you get time, can you text me?
Okay. Let's be like this. You ready? So it looks to me like we're just approving his findings and his partial payment. Is that what you got from it?
Yes. Mr. Blankenship's.
Yeah, and I think it seems proper based on what he's provided. So I'm gonna move that we,
You want to check and see if anybody's here on this?
is anybody here on the Tresian is? Yeah, how about it? Seems like the executrix is at a law firm, so I don't know if she's relative or not. Okay, well, in that case, I'm gonna move that we approve this request for reimbursement from the fiduciary commissioner, partial reimbursement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ruth?
The first one is the budget amendment.
Yeah, I got it.
I'll make changes to it, and the second page shows you how much PDA.
I don't know if it's, hold on, let me try to find it.
I have two problems. Do I have to sign that one? Basically the same thing as last year.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
The meeting dates were changed. And it says 2025. They said it 20.
My motion. You wanna read it first, Miss Taylor?
Yeah, I just finished reading it. Have we done the letter about the payroll system and stuff like that, or did we postpone it?
You want to do that whole thing.
All right. Yeah, I'll move that we approve it.
Second, all in favor?
All right.
Look at the second page. I just want you to see how much PDA is at this point. So the family plan is $18,000 a year, over 18,000 a year. And that's this year.
That went
I
up
think next
4,000.
year it's will go 14%.
Yeah.
Or this will go,
Well-
but I'll also tell you, if you try and go outside of PDA.
Yeah.
It's not looking any better.
No.
And your coverage will be worse.
Yeah.
Well, that's because you've looked into it and
Mhm.
gotten that data.
Mhm.
Not
We had three that was.
suppositions.
So.
Ruth, mileage?
Okay, the mileage reimbursement order. So the IRS issued their 2024 mileage rates, 67 cents a mile, up from 65.5 cents last year. We just adopted.
I move that we adopt it.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Next one, Ruth.
Yeah, this is the legal advertisement and the letters to the assessor, the prosecuting attorney for our board of equalization and review. Starting, I think, January 31st, is that first?
Mhm.
Yep.
A motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. I think there was one date that we were talking about, other than that, reserving it for some else. So I'll talk to you about it. We have a trial on February 4th. So we need to put all your stuff on that date so you can
Everything on the 12th.
take life.
Put all Anthony's stuff on the 12th, got it.
Wes can cover, Wes is involved in that.
Next one, Ruth.
This is the agreement with Cascade Technical. Or. Like the heating,
Boiler and stuff.
yes, thank you.
Yeah, maintenance and repair.
Mhm.
The same as it was last year.
Yep, split condensers, air handlers, VAV boxes.
My motion to approve.
Second.
Stuff.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, you'll do it with DST. For support services.
Mm. They have anyone here?
About it. Anybody on the phone? Cannon would be the only one, I think. But he did respond to a letter about the website and said he would take care of it.
That's what I was gonna ask us.
Yeah, so he said they didn't have an administrative staff from like December till now, so he never got the original letter.
Somebody should have told us. But, it's here to there.
My questions would be, did they have any from March of last year until now?
Well, yeah,
Well, yeah, because I had that
Been out
meeting
of
with her in February.
But other than that, Anthony would. He feel better.
We're doing a lot better. Yeah, I had it. When we replaced the server, and we fired off around the first Saturday. And since then, they've actually been very responsive to requests and getting them fixed.
I think they have a new person in our area too.
Yeah, and they're also gonna be helping us if we want to do that cybersecurity grant.
Oh, yeah.
From the state. They're gonna
Don't they
help us.
manage our email though?
Say again?
Don't they
Yes.
manage our email? Yeah, because I've not been happy with our email. Even a little bit.
But that may be a function of the server, not necessarily.
I think it's a function of using rack space.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely a function of using rack space, and I think they need to reconsider that because it's got all kinds of security vulnerabilities in it. I mean, there are phishing like emails that I get from it. And I'm like, I looked up and I'm like, where have I heard rack space before? And then I remember Amy had sent it to me. And anyway,
So you want to wait and talk with them or do you
Yeah,
want to?
I would. I would prefer to talk to him. I'm sorry, but
That's okay.
our email. You don't get your email for hours.
No. No,
All right, so you want to vote to postpone that? until we talk
Yeah.
to
to
them?
to the 17th, to the next. meeting.
31st.
The 31st, okay,
Yeah, because the 17th is special meeting.
okay,
Okay, so move to postpone to the 31st.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
The next item, Michelle. Yeah, it's her MOUs for municipalities want to be on the county ballot.
It's for the city of Montgomery.
There's actually Montgomery and Mount Hope. Mount Hope's came in the mail and they are identical with the exception of, because they have more people, we can ask for more money from them if you wish to do so. But the memorandums themselves are identical.
Yeah, Oak Hill had one too, didn't they?
No. They do for using our equipment. I don't believe that they will be utilizing that equipment any longer, my understanding, unless they have administrative changes in the next 3 years.
Okay.
These are for these will be their issues and their councilman and mayor will be on our county ballot in their municipality. So they won't have to do anything. And then you guys will be the board of canvassers for their elections. Any recount or contests would come through the county as rather to come in through the municipality. Should mention that one, huh?
No.
I mean, it's an easy lift on us. Just adding a couple different things to those ballots. The hardest part is going to be making sure that the lines of the municipalities match our county precinct lines. Mount Hope's first meeting in February. I have that on the agenda to make those changes to Mount Hope's precinct. But once that's done, it's just a matter of getting their names from them, giving them to our ballot people and.
Okay. It makes sense to me.
I don't have a problem with it. We
Mayor's
want
vote
this.
too. But this is one from Montgomery. You expect one from Mount Hope
We
too?
have Mount Hope's is there, like I said, it's identical with
Oh.
the exception of the amount. And I put in both the MOUs that you guys would set what you're gonna charge them 90 days before the election. So I'll come before you that middle of February so that we can give them a bill and then they will pay us.
Why is the amount different?
It's based on the formula and code. We can charge them up to 1.5% of the cost of the election
Mhm.
for their municipality. So if Montgomery has 300 and some residents, so you times that by there's percentage math.
Mhm.
Mount Hope's is more because they have over 700 people within their municipality.
Okay, now what fee do we set in addition to that?
And that would be that. I put that because I really don't feel Mount Hope's is close to $4,000. We're not doing $4,000 worth of work to put them on our ballot. I feel we would be paying those poll workers whether those 3 questions were on their ballot or not.
Mhm.
Like I said, it's just a matter of us. There is a minimal cost to adding those to the ballot, but it's not more than $300-400 tops. So I didn't know if we needed to charge them that whole
Well,
amount.
I think we talked about this about 6 months ago, and that's one of the reasons they wanted to come on the ballot, is actually save money.
Right, and it'll save them a lot of money.
Save them a lot of money.
And you guys can, like I said, you can charge them up to that 1.5.
To me, I don't think we should charge them any more than what it cost you. I mean,
Yeah, I agree with
they,
you.
they come
That's
to
what we
us to
said.
ask, they come to us and asked us.
Yeah.
To do that, I think 6
Like I
months
said,
ago.
I'll.
Just
Whereas-
actual cost, just whatever it costs you.
Yeah,
we'll
that's
work
what
with
we told them when they asked.
Yeah.
What the actual cost is, what we were charging.
But they have both already signed those, but like I said, I'll put that in there, it could be.
No one do you get the one sign here,
Mhm.
And I motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I think it's gonna make it easier for everybody all around. So,
Well, it helps them out too, really.
Hey. We missed this one.
They're not.
Wait a minute, I might have sent you mine. Cause here's ones that signed.
I think you would.
Yeah.
Don't sign it. Don't
Did you
sign
get
that one.
one?
Don't sign
Y'all's
that one.
color copier is so good, it's kind of hard to tell sometimes.
Well, that one didn't have any other signatures on it, though. And this one has the
No,
whole city.
John.
Montgomery
sorry,
City
John.
Council.
Sorry, John.
Did she end it
Miss
in
Taylor
one?
gave,
I messed you up.
Miss Taylor gave us the right one there.
Just wanted to see if he was paying attention.
I wasn't paying attention. I thought we was the first ones to sign it.
Me too. And then I saw the second one, and I'm like,
I sent it to them to review and they sent it back to signed, I was like, great. And Allison, this isn't on the agenda, but you had mentioned that the last meeting we talked about finding a polling place for that new precinct, we had a deep water. We called that church you mentioned, and he was like, yeah, sure, we need.
wonderful.
And
That'll probably be a much better
I'm
location.
pretty excited, we've got a new one for precincts 2 and 16, new mental health.
Basically.
It's gonna let us rent convention center. Or about what we pay the church. So, that'd be, we're gonna ask too much.
All right,
All right.
Is that it?
Yes.
all right, lease of the park house.
But I will give you that last week. I can put it on this agenda.
One second here.
I don't have it in my packet.
Right on here.
There's nothing in there.
I don't either.
Does anybody have a copy so we could see what the notice requirement is to what we put in there?
We could go to 9:30.
I was going to here when it's 9:30.
Well, in the meantime, let me ask the park director. Understand that you came up with some ideas about how the park could use the house down there that's currently occupied by a county employee.
We've thought about a couple of different things, obviously, just more, like, that's the only facility that we have down there. And I have things like that, we can do off-season things, just weddings, meetings, any place to meet and greet, but it's one of those things you have to look at it and adjust it, the property itself, and do something like that. But we don't have a facility in the winter that has heat, all of our shelters and all of our rec halls examples, but we can still brainstorm a lot more, I think, definitely go through a lot more ideas.
Okay. Okay, well,
You want to put it on?
no, I don't want to put it off. I think what we need to do is. We currently have an employee who is living in that house, and the park has identified uses for it that we didn't previously have. That employee living there was supposed to be temporary to start with. Given the housing situation in this area, I think we ought to give her about 3 months' notice. To let her have time to find something else. But I do think we should give her notice and in the meantime, start planning what you're gonna do. To use
Okay.
that
I'll have a problem.
house on the property.
Your motion,
That's my motion.
When was the lease actually signed last year?
It was 2022, like December of 2022.
Okay, thank you.
That it,
I'll
buddy?
second.
All in favor?
Aye. So Anthony, could you just, I know we have the lease somewhere, could you just make sure we give her notice complying with the lease and give her 90 days? 90.
Yep, 9:30. We'll hold off on that last one.
Yeah, because that's anything.
Yeah, well, did you want to talk about on the gun club? Did you or John, because you, both y'all been down there, y'all.
I can, or we can certainly let them talk.
If you
Well-
wouldn't mind, I'll go first and you can follow up.
I have something to say too.
Yeah, I got something to say. but-
We all got something to say.
I got something to say.
Well, what
Okay.
I have to say might make it shorter.
Well, that's what I was hoping Anthony would say, John, and then make it shorter too, but
Well,
I know Anthony's long-winded.
I,
I can, no, I can be, but not today. I'm tired.
I visited the gun club, had a very enjoyable time. The place is extremely safe. They do a really great job on, making sure that they educate people to come in to watch how they shoot. They do a great job on how they have the flags set up and actually how the clay pigeons, not real pigeons, fly, so that they can shoot them. I don't see any issues. And I personally feel that we should not only give them the lease, but also make sure that it's extended every year and that they continue to use that property. Additionally, I feel that there's also an opportunity for the deputies to have a place to target shoot there too. So that they can qualify and they can be there, to do their stuff. So kudos to them. They did a great job. Anthony, you've been there a couple times, so.
Yeah.
Well,
and basically,
Anthony, do you mind if I say what I have to say
sure,
first? The concerns that I had as a commissioner about the gun club. Of course, we had the animal shelter come in here and make us think people were getting hit with bird shot and stuff like that. And that was a concern, obviously. They brought some in, they were like, people are getting hit. This is dangerous for us and the animals, so our first reaction was, look, let's reach out to them and make sure they know and that things stop. And Anthony had sent a letter, but really the intent was, I figured if somebody was doing that it was an errant person and that the club could adjust and figure that out within the club. Like, to me, it wasn't a big issue. It was just something that just needed to be addressed and resolved. The second concern I had, which I've mentioned in the past and have always had, was and I will say, I do think from what I'm hearing that the pellet issue is resolved. The second issue was that I was concerned that it is a public, land. It's, taxpayer owned, and the taxpayers didn't have access to it, at least in the beginning. I've since learned that taxpayers are offered the opportunity to come to the club on the club's Facebook page. So that is something that's another concern I have that's already been resolved. And the third thing for me, and this has been an ongoing concern for all of us, I know, is that our deputies do not have a range. And we have a $60-some thousand grant that we need to invest into building a range, in addition to probably some more county funds to do that. And Prosecutor Siliberti went out there the other day. He thinks that there is room near the current, area where you shoot trap, that an indoor gun range could be fashioned there. Kind of like they have Gunsmoke or something like that in Beckley. They have there. Commissioner Luisas did a lot of research on.
not indoor.
What do you mean not indoor? Indoor was what I wanted.
Well, there's room for a range, but there's not, if you put a building, you're gonna interfere with.
So you mean for an outdoor range? So we still need to find another place to put an indoor range for the
Yeah.
deputies.
There's room for an outdoor range. I don't think there's room for an indoor range. The only place to put a building is gonna be in the line of fire. The ski range and the traffic.
What I don't think though is if deputies do need to go out, if that is where they have to fire their rifles and stuff, that they should have to wait for anybody else. Like if they come out there to qualify or between shifts or something to get some shots off, I think they should have precedence when they're there. But I'm hoping that we can get them their own location. I mean, we've gone around, Brian, about other places at the park. Rod Purdue had gone down and found some places and then we kind of fall off and don't, there's always something that's not good enough for some reason or the expense. And what do you think, Sheriff? Like, where do you think we are on that? Like,
Well, I know that Mr. Williams was working with some stuff and we've more or less put some stuff on hold, waiting to see for something that's coming out. I haven't heard anything, let me know. Again, research, just like you said, Commissioner, we searched several places. I mean, we all, for any of y'all said, Commissioner Berman said on Commissioner at the time, the old Girl Scout camp, we had blueprint put up, we had all this stuff put up, and then we had like 8, 9 citizens come in and they turned it down. Everywhere we go, we find somewhere, like you said, Commissioner, without me talking too long, we just get sidetracked on something else. But I know Commissioner Louise is trying to work at one location that would be amazing. So that's where we at. So
I've mentioned it.
I know that we have up an infrared grant, like you said, $65,000 or $68,000 sitting around trying to find a location to do it. And we talked down with the gentleman before and we had some stuff worked out and then again.
okay, well, it sounds like my concerns have been resolved about the gun range. And so I'm happy to rescind my original motion and move that we reinstate the lease and continue the lease with the gun club.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Go ahead.
The only concern we have with that, we haven't gotten with our insurance. We are an amateur track shooting field, we're certified. Before COVID, we had to have a shoot to keep our insurance. We don't think if you put anything on that track, we don't know, they've been closed through the holidays, so this kind of came late, but the deputies may want to come down. We don't know if we'll be able to keep that certification. If we lose that certification, we have insurance. He's thinking it could be anywhere from $2,500 to $3,000 a year in insurance for us to keep that insurance.
Well, let
We
me
pay our own
ask you a question. Don't mean to interrupt you.
Sure.
It's county property.
I understand.
So if county covered insurance for the deputies was down there, I mean, I think that's what you're asking, right?
Yes.
I mean,
it could interfere with our
Yeah.
insurance.
Well,
Yeah.
as long as we have the insurance, would it interfere with it?
We don't know. We don't know.
Well, would you ask that question? Because I think we would have insurance.
Yeah, we'd have
Well, I'm
insurance.
sure you would.
It's county property, yeah.
I'm concerned more on our end, if we'll be able to afford after that.
Well,
Because right now, we're like $600 a year.
if the county wrote a letter, I've dealt with insurance companies and different insurances working together. As long as you write a letter, Anthony, help me. There's a letter they can write to prove you have insurance, so it relieves them of all liability if the sheriff went down there and did something like that. Yeah, I've dealt, now maybe not in this instance with government and private, but I think that could be done. I mean, if we worked to that, I think it could be.
And we don't know either. We tried to contact, they were closed through the holidays. We haven't tried to call them yesterday. And
Yes, sir. There's someone behind you there.
I'm Kevin Biggs, I'm an insurance agent. Even with the indemnification, one of the issues with the Amateur Track Association, the insurance, is anything in the track field that draws the eye of the shooter. So if anything is brought right there onto the track field, then that would nullify our insurance as a range, not as liability aside. Nothing can be in the range of the shooter, in the eye of the shooter. Now, down below, there's still that area from that parking lot that wasn't finished. And I think something down there would be a perfect spot.
I looked at that too. I've come out and talked to these gentlemen about it before.
And again, you're talking about for their long gun, their rifle.
There's no.
Correct. The field is the track range, and with the track field, it throws anywhere from left to right. It's an oscillating arm. So anything that's right there in the track field that's constructed that would draw the shooter's eye, it would nullify the fact that we're a certified track field. And that would nullify our insurance. So
What?
nothing could be built on the track field.
Well, we're not talking about building something on the track.
Well, that's what they were saying earlier. It was right there.
Well, it mentioned it, that was mentioned.
It was mentioned, but then we unmentioned it because Anthony said there wasn't room for that.
There's not room on this property for a rifle.
No.
No, it's only 75 yards, 75 feet. I think they told you.
What was the place that you guys were looking at?
Yeah, we
that
looked
would
at-
Accommodate rifles
We,
in?
we looked at it and it was close. The rifles is below it. Oh, the place that was looking, oh, yeah, the piece of property would accommodate anything the sheriff needed.
Okay, well, my concerns are resolved. I mean, they've done what we asked and they've opened it to the public and put it on social media, which is the only way.
And I have some.
Sure.
And
It's the only way to do it.
Brian said he would be able to also let the public know something about the range.
Through the park,
Through the park.
yeah.
That's just kind of how we get it out to the public. To be honest with you, I had no idea it was down there about a year ago. I was on vacation, my wife saw a post, sent it to me, said, you might like this. So I've been down there for last year, pretty hot and heavy. But it was ridiculous.
I mean, I like to get down there and do it.
Well, come on. We need to-
I have my 20 gauge. Work it out a little bit.
That's what we do currently. That's what we want to do. We have a short meetings. We have our big meeting on January 20th. You guys live up to come. In fact, we're going to get some signs maybe with the conflict. We really are trying to be a good neighbor to that panel. That's why we get down on Saturdays at 9. We have the panel open, I think, and then on Saturday. We try to be cleaned up at dawn by 12:30, 1 o'clock.
No, I mean, we appreciate that. And I know that was a big issue before, but as I told the people at the animal shelter, I mean, they have thunder, like we can't control thunder. There are going to be times that the dogs are going to be alarmed and there's nothing you do about it.
And honestly, from the time we get there, it's time to leave those dogs or hold these. I mean, you know when a car pulls in up there. I don't really want to think it's anything. I mean, none of us would try to intentionally hurt anyone or shoot in that direction. I mean, Floyd, our president's very adamant. When you bring your gun, you protect your gun or you're choked. You choke, you choke down your dot. And he will not let you shoot unless you have a proper chokes because we do worry about traveling.
Yeah.
We're pretty safe.
Well, the prosecutor did a very good job advocating for the gun range with me because he knew what my concerns were and he called me and he said, I went down there and I observed this and I did this and they're doing this. And he said, do you have any concerns left? And I'm like, nope. So.
And we appreciate him and
yeah.
They were both good. Anthony's a good shot.
Well, to me, it wasn't even that big a deal. It's like, okay, if they're shooting in the direction of the shelter, they'll just know not to. I didn't think it was anybody needed to go observe it, because or else I would have gone to observe it. But to me, you're obviously not going to shoot in the direction of the shelter while I'm standing there watching. So I said, if somebody did that, it was errant and they just need to put a couple signs up and say, don't do it. I mean, that's what it was. We just wanted to make sure nobody, was in range.
I'm sure once we got the letter, I mean, it was pretty successful.
Yeah. And he did, well, because the way they came in, they alarmed us.
Absolutely.
They made us think that there were some serious, people might put their eye out,
Well, I explained to the club that basically the way it was presented at the county commission meeting was that people were taking rounds and were worried about getting shot.
Yeah.
And that obviously got.
They brought their little baggie of evidence and.
Yeah, I've been there before. I've been there before a few times. I wasn't concerned, but I was, especially when Mr. Bremer was holding the bag up. I thought, where'd he get the BBs from? When the commissioner does that, I mean, I was, a little concerned also. I didn't figure you guys did that, but still somebody down there, where'd it come from? I mean, that's
Chris.
when he brought it. I mean, that's the only thing I was on.
Like to say also that right across the creek is private land and those guys, they do hunt. So that squirrel shot could have come from across the creek very easily. It is private property and you can shoot from their oak trees and hit the dog.
That was awful small shot to be squirrel shot.
It's the same thing that we ran into with the Girl Scout camp. We knew that all that land up there, the county owned 300 some acres. We're looking at same thing. They was upset because they hunt up there. There's a road that goes up behind there, goes into that land also. So the same thing like our bullets, we're going up the bend and going up a hill and then make a hard left and hit the buildings. We got our technique.
Yeah, well, I was telling Ruth and them, I've been on a dove hunt, that you got 3 guys every 60 yards. I don't know whether y'all done that before, but you got a big field, you got 3 guys every 60 yards. And as long as you don't shoot at a 45, I've had BBs all around me on a hunt. So, I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
But also Andrew, who is the chair of the Humane Society, went down and spent time with him, and he also shot, so.
And I-
Yeah.
I went up to the shelter after one of the visits and talked with Val, and my first visit, if I remember correctly, was.
She's the new shelter director.
It was 3 weeks, but it wasn't this past weekend, 2 weekends prior. And Fallon told me there hadn't been any additional issues since they initially presented their concerns and complaint to the commission.
Yeah, so it sounded like that was resolved. Again, this, public availability is resolved, and it sounds like we've got other ideas for the sheriff's shooting range. So as far as I'm concerned, it can continue. And I think
We also have to get some contact numbers for any issues, come talk to us. That's kind of what took us back to the meeting. No one ever said a word to us.
And that's, I should be honest with you, I should have pushed to postpone it and talk to you guys, to be honest with you.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, we were a little freaked out by the testimony we received that day, worried that somebody was in danger and trying to make sure we stopped and, took action and then figured it out,
2 years ago, we received a letter that we had to be off the hill. And this is going back to the deputies, and myself and Dave Duke met with Lieutenant Mooney and Chief Deputy Rod. And, we sat down several times and we thought we had a solution. Well, they came back and said that they didn't want it, that they had other plans, but we did try to work, make it workable for the, so the deputies would have.
No, I remember. Yeah.
that's been a moving
Yeah.
target. I mean, that we think we have an idea. We thought we had the Girl Scout, and then there's something wrong with that. And then we thought we had another place, there's something wrong with that. And now they have a new one that I need to hear about, but we do have some grant money. We're just gonna have to prioritize getting theirs. Because they're not the only ones who will benefit. The deputies aren't the only ones who will benefit. We have state and other law enforcement here in this area that could use to qualify at that range, federal too. Talk to the Park Service, they'd love to have somewhere close to qualify, so. I think it'd be something helpful for a lot of different law enforcement agencies.
9:45.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for coming in, and we're sorry we didn't handle it as well as we would like to have, but thank you for resolving our concerns.
Well, we got another 9:45, but you want to be real quick.
It'll be just a minute. I'm Gary and Rock. I'm an officer of the Fayette County Club.
Mhm.
So if there's any concerns, please let us know. We will encourage women to shoot.
I'm gonna be out there, girl, I'm gonna tell you.
We received the nerve.
I'll go ahead and take it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, guys.
Mhm.
Okay. As far as we're
Angela?
concerned, it's all good.
Thank
Back
you.
to business. I know, it was hot. Did you
Where
change
were you
it?
from?
Where I'm from?
Yeah. No, no.
I'm from WNYC.
Okay.
Over it now. That's right now, clear now.
Yes. Yeah.
Whenever you know.
Well, it'll be at the end of the meeting.
I get.
We're getting close there.
Yeah. You shouldn't have said that, but.
I know, I just jinxed this. bit.
Is there a lady on there by the name of Lisa Jackson?
She's on there.
Okay. So at the last, Anthony had created a consent to access property. And we have 2 people that have applied. I've got 9 more applications, but we don't have enough. It wasn't enough time to get on the agenda, but we do have, Mr. Hilton is here. On behalf of his property, he's requesting the demolition money, voluntarily demo. And we have Elisa Jackson who is on Zoom. I do have a picture of her property. So I don't know which one y'all want to go first or how you want to handle it.
Well, I mean, I got some questions for Mr. Hilton, but if that lady's online, we'll go ahead and take
So
the.
here's a picture of her property. It's in Mossy. You can see it from the turnpike. So if you guys have any questions for her, So this is the first voluntary ones we've done, so I just want to have it.
I don't have any questions. If
I think she told me she's owned it for about 2 years. I mean, their plan basically is just to have some open space.
so, we just gonna motion to approve the process.
I'm assuming if if you want to use the,
She on there?
yes,
If there is a process, Amy has to go out there first, right?
yeah, the SHPO, yeah. Do you have any questions? Ms. Jackson?
Was she here?
Ms. Jackson, can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
There she is, Anthony.
And I think she's co-owner, but both of them signed the form.
Ms. Jackson, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Who's the, I'm having trouble reading your writing. Is it Sean Olds?
Yes, yeah, he's my husband. He works out of town with the DOH.
Okay. And where do the two of you live?
Right next door to that White House. We bought both properties. That red one, I don't know if you can see right next to the white one is where we currently reside.
Okay.
Our initial plan was to redo that White House. But we had our brother-in-law in who does contracting in Virginia, and that gravel road on the side there has pushed the foundation in. So what he's saying is I'd need to tear it down to rebuild or reinforce that basement on the inside, the foundation. So we were just thinking about just tearing it down. All my kids are deciding to move out now. So I was thinking just to expand the yard and to get rid of it for safety hazard as well.
Okay. And can you give us a little bit of an idea of what the financial circumstances are for you and your husband?
It's just really expensive. We thought about maybe doing it ourselves, and taking it down piece by piece. He is qualified with a CDL and a heavy equipment background, so we were thinking about maybe renting equipment to take it down. We've just been trying to find out how we can do it for the most cost-effective way.
Let me ask my question a little more. Are you on a fixed income or is your husband on a fixed income?
No, he works with the DOH and then he receives VA benefits.
Okay, and what about yourself, man?
Currently I do not work, no, sir.
Okay. And you said when you bought this property, you were planning on renovating this structure?
Yes.
And what were you gonna do with it?
We were just gonna renovate the inside and then move into it as it's bigger than the one that we're currently in.
Okay, and based on what's inside, does it appear to be an old residence?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have any further questions for you.
Okay, but I think my question was that the process. Amy has to do the SHPO process.
Correct.
That's the first stage, and after SHPO comes back, then there'll be another approval.
Well, basically what on the we can do what the SHPO and getting bids, we can do that all at the same time.
Right.
Basically, you guys have to vote on whether or not you want to use free money for voluntary.
But we
on this
can't,
property.
we can't do it anyway till the SHPO and the bid comes out and we have to bid it out.
Yeah, you can go ahead and
And there
approve
has to
for me
be-
to start the
Then there
process.
has to be another agreement for us to enter the property.
Yes,
And
Anthony will
then
have a voluntary.
that's the second one.
Yes.
I think that should come up after the SHPO and the bid.
I think we can do it all at
Well,
the same.
and SHPO
Okay.
has been, I don't wanna jinx
Yeah.
this, but SHPO's been moving pretty quickly.
Okay.
Like I'm getting my, if I can get one done within a day, which usually I can,
Okay.
get it off to them, they're back with me in a day or two.
I need two things clarified. One, which address are we talking about right now?
We are talking about 8001 Mossy
Okay,
Mill Road.
okay, I thought so. And so two, we're talking about whether Ms. Jackson is eligible for the grant funding to tear the house down.
Correct.
And the prosecutor asked some questions about that, and then The process, this whole Amy doing SHPO is new to me, so.
It's section 106 review. Anytime we use state or federal money, we to do anything on a property in the state. State Historic Preservation Office requires that we do a section 106, or we request a section 106 review where they prove, or we prove to them and they agree with us that there is no historical relevance to the property since we are using state or federal money to alter. We have to do it if, when we do the sheriff's masonry, I have to do that. When we do the annex.
You
I
have
to
the
do
Mount
that.
Hope wall.
Yes, yes,
See-
yes, exactly.
So
It's
let
a
me-
requirement of the grant that it
Yes.
get done.
I'm friends with Stormy Parsons, so
Yeah.
I feel okay.
See, I know we have to have another signed agreement anyway. This is just to enter the property to get the bid.
That is just for us to go on the property to
Right,
get bids, and
right.
then later on, there's another agreement that consents for the demolition and disposal.
Right.
So are you saying we bring it back for that, or are you?
We have, I mean, should.
Well, if you guys go
I don't
ahead
think
and
we have to.
vote, I can go ahead and start to get a bid, and then in the meantime, we can do the voluntary form, correct, Ann?
We have the landowner's permission to enter the property right now for the purpose of obtaining a bid and considering the property further, and then once we have that information, assuming the property owner is willing to go forward with the demolition, they'll sign another agreement, and that's when the commission would decide whether or not to fund the demolition and disposal.
I think it should be that. And the reason being, we have municipalities are putting in properties also. In fact, we've got a bunch in the last couple of days. And I'm not saying we'll deny it. I'm not saying we'll
Just so we
approve
can
it.
consider them all.
Consider them all,
at once.
as, you know, as they come in, consider them all and take a priority to what needs to be done first, in my opinion. I mean,
Okay.
The thing to keep in mind is this initial grant, if I remember correctly, it's only $200,000.
Correct, and we've spent about 15,000, and we have 3 more bids that'll be coming up at the end of January.
I got to talk about that with his.
Demo cost of $9,000.
So,
That basically gives us the ability to demolish and dispose of roughly somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 properties
Yeah.
thereabouts.
I'm just wondering if all this still needs to be done while we're hearing it today. Like, does it make sense for us to hear it this soon in the process?
The only thing is we have to put the bid in the paper, so you have to run it for 2 weeks. And it takes a while, so, I mean, that's up to you guys, but you
Yeah.
also remember, we have a deadline of February 24th.
It'll
to
be a
get
lot,
those.
it'll be a lot different after this money's spent, because we're presently getting signatures to enter properties now that we'll be able to use for the December 1st REAP application. That way, we're, instead of cleaning 2 properties this past year, we'll clean 50 the next year. If we don't have, in my opinion, if we don't have this process set to where we're getting all the information in a timely manner, you see what problem we've had cleaning these properties after we got the REAP funding. And this way, if we have properties set and ready, I'm just giving you the process, then it'll be quicker. But right now, we have to go quick.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, sitting here, what purpose we are serving hearing about this property now, because there's no action we can take. That's my
The
question.
approval of the funding, I guess.
Approved for me,
Approval for her to seek bids to demo and dispose of the property.
And see what shit.
But do we have to prove for her to seek bids? We've gone over this with Ruth multiple times. Like, when we have people who need bids, they can solicit bids as long as we're not doing a matching grant or something that's requiring us to allocate money. Like, why couldn't she solicit bids without our involvement?
I think that's what Angela was wanting.
that was kind of the point of me coming today, because I've got 2 here, we have 9 coming up, so it was kind of a discussion.
So we
Do you
don't
want
have-
me to go ahead and just start getting bids, or do you want
So
to?
we can do- Okay.
That's part of the-
Okay, I'm
that would be
sorry.
more
No,
efficient.
I agree.
Yeah,
No, I agree
it's
with
kind of,
Ms. Taylor. I didn't
you know,
understand what you was talking
yeah.
about. Okay, I understand.
That's
Yeah.
kind of, I put it on the agenda because we're gonna be getting a bunch of them, and so do you want me
Well,
to
you
go
got-
ahead and get bids?
Yes,
And let the contractors know that,
Yes.
you know, they may or may not,
yes.
but we have another applicant on here, you know, that we need to ask some questions.
Yeah, I want to talk about
Yeah.
the shallow property. for
Because as
reason.
far as me telling the property owners, I can't tell them whether or not I have to prioritize it once we get the bids. So
Yeah,
that's kind of.
Yeah, it says in the trust and the
Yeah, because it doesn't cost anything,
access,
so
yeah.
But you
Um,
could come up with an application form and ask those questions on the form, like the
I think
questions that
Anthony was
Anthony is
working
asking.
on that, maybe, correct?
And then we can have those, because really we're not serving a purpose.
An
right now. The
application.
Commission is.
Like, what, you know, you had the applications like I sent you for Charleston, were you working like a priority list.
I mean, that's the consent.
No, like the you're talking about like a, who we,
About the information.
Yeah.
about Property owner's background.
Mhm.
Income and, yeah.
so basically what I'll do is I'll go ahead and get bids, I'll get with Amy to go ahead and do the
Residency.
SHPO. Because like I said, we only have till February, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think we ought to just, yeah, I think.
And once I get all those
Yeah.
bids, then you guys can make a decision. on
Okay,
who gets
yeah.
grant money.
I
So
like
would
it.
it be for anybody that submits a volunteer?
I'd say, to me, it would be anybody, because we're
Anyone
not
who
making
submits.
decisions.
Like, it's a matter of what she can.
Yeah, if anybody gives
Because
me a
we'll make a
form, should I
decision
get it?
after we get all the information. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, so that way it won't be two processes, it'll be a single process.
Right.
Yeah, that's fine. I just, like I said, this
Yep.
was new, so I wanted to
No,
make sure
I-
everybody's
I
still on the
agree,
same
I agree.
page.
I agree. So you make a matter of minutes process to do that now?
Yeah, you still have questions.
I still, want-
Okay.
there's a reason I want to have, Mr. Hilton, and he don't have to say too much, just yes and no, probably. I'll do all the talking. You want to cut, Mr. Hilton?
I think.
You want to stand up here, brother? Does your property? I know, yeah, believe me. Your property have gas?
Yes.
Okay, I asked Mr. Hilton some questions the other day when I found out he had filled out a access form. And I'm working on a redevelopment plan that his property is a perfect pilot piece of property that I'm talking about. Present infrastructure is, most present infrastructure is in the municipalities or on the outskirts of municipalities. And these dilapidated properties that people either buy or have, in my opinion, is the easiest to redevelop. And your piece of property would be the easiest redevelop in a redevelopment plan. What I want to do is move from the municipality to the outskirts of the municipalities and then outward into the other communities in development. Instead of starting in the middle of a community that doesn't have any infrastructure at all, it's easy to add and redevelop infrastructure outward from the center of the infrastructure. So that, I wanted to talk about that when his property come up. And I asked him if he wanted to redevelop his property. And I think you told
It
him
has
you
been
did.
something I've considered, yes.
And to me, that's what this process is about, is finding properties that people's either bought or has that want to redevelop it and put it on the market, or housing, rentals, or anything like that. I don't know exactly what you want to do. And I think I asked Mr. Hilton if he would be willing to work with the LRA and the NRGDRDA to help develop his property if this process come about. And I think you told me yes.
Yes, because that's
So-
something I have not considered, so he brought this up, and I'm more than willing to sit down and speak with him.
Now, do you know what the taxes on your property, and it's open to the public. And I was gonna get this information prior to this meeting. Do you know what you pay taxes on that property?
No, I do not. I just purchased this property a few months ago.
The reason this piece of property is, to me, is key for what my redevelopment plan is. Let's say he's paying $4,000 a month taxes on this property. A year, yeah, yeah, not, yeah. Did I say a month? Did I say a month?
I made a mistake, but it is.
Okay, a year. And
Well, you
we
didn't know
take
that.
and redevelop that piece of property into a patio homes or anything else like that. This piece of property has potential to pay 12,000, 15,000 a year property taxes. And that's what this redevelopment is all about, that I'm talking about, from the inside out and changing and redeveloping that piece of property. So I'm all for this. I mean, I've actually wrote a plan. It'll be out in a couple weeks. And I haven't talked to the commission about it yet. I've been working on putting it together. Sorry. But I thought I'd talk about it today, since this is a perfect piece of property to show my idea about redevelopment. Yeah.
Gym building. The piece of property, me and my wife actually renovated an apartment building in Oak Hill and actually did some good for the community. This is something I've been driving by, and I'm a police officer in this county. This is something I've drove by and ran calls out here, and it's been a nuisance for years. So for the last year, I've tracked Mr. Billings down, and spoke with him and worked out a deal. And this is not something I had investors. This is something I personally took on myself. So when this abandoned property money come up, that's whenever I filled out the application. When Mr. Luis contacted me and talked, when he went out there and looked at it and asked me a few questions about it. So this is just a private individual here in the county trying to do something for the county. He was speaking, I've already had estimates on what it's cost to tear each one of them out. If they drag them out of there, if they can put wheels under them, you're looking at about $1,800 to get them out of there. If they crush them a piece, yeah, thank you. And if you crush them, you're looking at probably around $4,000 to $5,000 to haul them to the landfill.
Are those the only ones left?
There is, right now I have, I had more, but right now I only have about 7 people still out there. And they, some of them's gonna have to do something with their properties, but right now they're good people and I'm working with them and I'll do everything I can to help them out.
So how would your redevelopment plan work with the remaining residents there?
I mean, it's my property, so, we're gonna have to figure that out as we move forward, depending on what I decide to do with it.
Mhm.
So,
Okay. Okay.
All right.
any questions?
No?
Yes,
No
sir.
more?
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's what these shallow properties are.
Yeah.
All right.
Anthony, Hosea, do we have these other two?
Can't have that.
Okay, Farmar,
We'll do Anthony Hosea first, the property. These two properties are on the involuntary track, if you will. Basically, Mr. I'll have to have the orders brought over. Mr. Hosea has not seen fit to communicate with us at all. We initially had problems getting him served, ended up using a private process server and was able to determine that he was actually living at the address that we had for him. Apparently, whoever was living there before was not cooperative with the deputies, but anyway, he was served his 30 days to comply has expired. He did not ask for a hearing. So at this point, I have an order for the commission to sign. And, it's ready. I'll have to have somebody print it and bring it over. So basically at this point, he'll be sent the order from the commission, which again directs him to demolish and dispose of the property. If he doesn't do it within 30 days, then the next step is for me to file suit against him. And coincidentally, a couple weeks after he was actually served with the complaint, the property caught fire. Coincidentally. But anyway, I mean, as we've discussed, that doesn't change anything. So essentially, if we get the order signed today, it'll go out, the clerk is supposed to send it out, and then he'll have 30 days to comply. And if he doesn't, then sometime in early February, lawsuit will be filed against him in circuit court.
any questions, anybody?
No.
So I need the commission to vote to issue the order on Mr. Jose and his property, adopting the findings of the.
Beautification committee.
Yes.
I make a motion to approve the beautification committee's recommendations and assess the civil penalties per our policy.
Second.
All in favor?
And
Second,
approve the order,
I'm
right?
sorry.
And approve the order.
Yes, and like I said, the
Approve it.
order's ready. I just need you guys to sign it, and I thought I printed 2 of the Parmar orders instead of one of
I move that we approve the order for the Hosea property.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye, we can sign it. once
So the second property, Parmar, we have the exact same issue. These guys were a little bit of an easier target because it's a business, using the information provided by the Secretary of State's website. They were served. They have been sent innumerable letters to the notice of process address provided by the Secretary of State, and they have chose to completely ignore communicating with us for whatever reason. So this property is in the exact same posture. I need the commission to issue an order adopting the enforcement agency's recommendations. They'll have 30 days from today, and then if they fail to comply, then the lawsuit will be filed.
Do we have a photo of this property?
We did prior, this one also caught on fire during the 30-day time.
Well, I move we approve an order containing the beautification committee's recommendations and assess the civil penalties for our policy.
And I have.
Second. All in favor?
I
Aye.
have.
With that one sign then. Does it just have Tom's on it or?
It's got all three commissioners. It's got Tom and you get the two commissioners. I'll run across the street and give me a chance. And that has to be recorded with the county clerk. Once the order is signed.
I lost my name. Name agenda.
All right, that's it.
What's this last one on Bruce list, the Greentown Loop?
You want to get that for 2:15? I mean, for 10:15?
This has to go under the lap, get the file and clean that, to you.
This is Allison's.
Yeah, I wonder what happened. I was looking for. How do I end up sending that down there?
I don't know on this one. I just want to give you something to think about. I'd say to you.
Do you want me to go ahead and cover the Greentown Loop property?
Yeah, please.
I'm sorry.
Please.
Yeah.
Okay. If you recall, this was an issue that came up back in March. Essentially, the county at some point in the past had demolished a structure and disposed of it, and it was situated on this particular piece of property. County held a $9,000 lien. The property owner did not pay the taxes. The property was sold at a tax sale, and it put the county in a position of basically to maintain the lien, we would have had to have redeemed the property. So the problem that put the county, the problem with the situation that the county was placed in is and the redemption was going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of between $1,300 and $1,400. I don't remember the exact amount. If we had redeemed the property, we simply would have retained the lien. We wouldn't have acquired ownership. It simply would have preserved the lien. We still would have had to have engaged in litigation to force the sale, to enforce the lien. What we ended up doing, Tom, you look like you have a question.
Yeah, well, if the LRA purchased the tax lien,
They didn't,
but if they did, okay, because somebody else purchased.
correct.
Okay, that's what I was confused about. I was wondering why we didn't, but this was before the LRA.
This
No,
was
this is
formed.
well
This
before
was
the
Okay.
LRA.
before the
You've got the
LRA.
list that we,
Yeah, this
okay,
was not on
okay,
this report.
okay,
This
okay,
was a
sorry,
long time
Okay.
ago.
sorry, I got you.
This
Okay.
happened actually before I came on the commission.
So basically what ended up happening was the commission authorized me to reach out to the gentleman that bought the property at the tax sale, Benjamin Howington. Mr. Howington is here today. And essentially, if Mr. Howington was in a position of being given incentive to compromise as the county was, and essentially the agreement, I mean, are you guys familiar with which piece of property this is?
I looked at it here. I got a picture of it.
It's 8/10 of an acre. If you are heading north on Route 19, it's that piece of property.
Should be back.
It's a piece of property that sits between Greentown Loop Road and Route 19.
Is it 0230A-29?
That's it.
Okay. Yeah, first thing I did, pulled it up, and looked this morning.
Okay.
Across from where the village park. You can remember that.
Well, yeah, these properties, I've looked at some of these properties that are on the survey map, I believe. Say, I know where this piece, I think I know where it's at.
So the gist of the reality of the situation is this property is. It's appraised, not assessed. It's appraised by the assessor's office. At I believe somewhere around $1,500, and that's the appraised value, not the assessed value. So the reality is the county getting their $9,000 out of this property was realistically going to be slim to none. So we entered into an agreement with Mr. Howington that once he acquired ownership, we would split the cost of we would split the purchase price of the property if the property could be sold. The individual that lives next door to the property has offered $6,000 to purchase the property. Obviously, Mr. Burks, that's the gentleman that lives next door to it. He has an interest because it'll expand his property. Once I found out that there had been some discussions between Mr. Burks and Mr. Howington, I got involved, and essentially Mr. Burks has agreed to foot the bill for recording fees, homestead preservation fees, excise tax, everything. I'll do the deed. And essentially the $6,000 purchase price pursuant to the agreement will be split 50-50 between Mr. Howington and the county commission.
Well, that's a lot more than we expected.
Yeah.
From when this.
Well, realistically,
That was gonna be half of $1,500 or something.
well, I mean, I suppose we probably could have maintained the lien and taken our chances and tried to sell the property, but at the end of the day, you know, even if Mr. Burks had offered us $6,000, it's still between the original redemption of $1,300 and then the cost of litigating the sale. And of course, when you do that, you have to have a special commissioner appointed. And the special commissioner, legal fees would probably be somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,500. So I really don't, I think we're coming out about where we probably would have if we had fought from start to finish on this.
I think it's a good deal, and I like that the property owner next door is gonna benefit from it. It's my opinion, and
Let's go ahead.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the split of the proceeds from the sale of the property with Mr. Howington, $3,000 each.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Well, I'm good. I just,
No, I need one.
no.
Did you still have questions about that?
I still had questions about,
Well, we could have held. on the
that's
motion.
okay. That's okay. I should have, no, I should have done it before. I'm good.
Okay.
We'll take a quick break. Ms. Taylor will be right back with you guys. All right, I want to call this meeting back to order for our 10:15. We're a little late. Josh, you the one gonna talk about this? Who's gonna?
Janet,
Mr. Easton?
Order our instructor bunker gear. I made a copy.
All the bunker gear, okay.
Only bid that we received when we just want to reach them.
Is there copies? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Copies.
15 cents for this fire truck.
Yeah, this is what, no, I think, yeah, I missed it, did that, yeah. Bunker gear.
She'll be on December 14th at the county fire meeting.
I'm sorry, Ms. Tanner.
And you received only one.
Received only one bid.
Have you worked with this company before?
Yes.
You think this is a good deal for what you're
That
purchasing?
is a real, you know, compared to what we've been paying for here,
That's that's everything, right?
that's pants, coats and boots.
I'm fine with it.
Now, if you're gonna go with 15, do you have to pay the $275 on each one?
Well,
Or
I
will the freight
questioned him
change?
that this morning, he said that's negotiable. I mean, but we're only order 15. I asked him, do we have to pay $275 for it? He said, no, that's negotiable. On the freight.
And how do they ship it?
I don't think you ship it. I mean, my truck. Yeah.
Okay.
You have any
Do
questions,
they have any
John?
questions? Okay, well, I move that we approve it.
I second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. We have,
One piece back.
this is it.
We got one.
I'd like to keep mine.
There, you can have
You
that.
can have mine.
Shannon.
All right, that's all. It's everything, isn't it? Motion to adjourn.
Second.